What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Paragon version 43.3 patch notes, which includes Shadow's Eve. Shadow's Eve begins with the release of patch version 43.3 on October the 10th. The event will run until November the 1st. But I'm sure you guys have read the announcement blog and watched the video. But if you haven't, definitely go check that out. I won't really be talking about that too much because I'm really interested in finding out what Epic are doing in this patch, because we know there's going to be a lot of hero changes and a lot of card changes, and I've been kind of getting tired with the balance. In the current state of the game, I'm not enjoying myself that much. I definitely think it has potential, which is probably what annoys me the most, is that there's so much potential for them to make this game great. So I want to see if they're heading in the right direction. These are just some banners that you can get from the Shadow's Eve loot crates. So this week's release notes includes the Shadow Eve event details, extensive balance on both heroes and cards, as well as various bug fixes and a loot crate update, blah blah blah. So here are the release notes. This is the Shadow's Eve event. Basically, there are 3 new skins, Narbash, Wukong, and Yin, and also the old skins will be returning. The map does look amazing. You're probably going to see a video of it throughout the patch notes that I'll put for you guys, so you can see how amazing the map looks. Now, credit to Epic art team, man. They're always spot on with amazing things. Skins are really good. The map is amazing. This spooky update looks insane, so gotta give credit to their art team for making a huge effort, because I did a degree in computer science. I know how hard graphics especially is, so big shout out to them. I'm just gonna skim through this stuff. Basically, there's going to be Shadow's Eve chest, chance to receive an exclusive event chest as a post-match reward, may contain one of the following: a new Shadow's Eve skin, so that's either Narbash, Wukong, or Yin, a past Shadow's Eve skin which is from last year, one of 3 new banners which we just saw, and other rewards include rep boost, crates, keys, mastery tokens. Now, you can get a Shadow's Eve chest by playing a game, or you can earn them on Twitch, so I will probably be streaming throughout the month, so if you want to catch me stream and potentially win an exclusive event chest, my Twitch will be somewhere on the screen here and in the description below, so come hang out. Then there's a 25% discount on some spooky skins and blah blah blah. Now let's get into what all of you have been waiting for. Heroes, hero adjustments and bug fixes. So there was a community corner on Friday, and they said that they are going to increase ability armor for every single hero across the board apart from Steel because of his passive. So base ability defense for all heroes increased from 25 to 30 except Steel, who remains at 10, like I said, because of his passive. Now this is good because that will mean that Gideon Q that hits you in your face for like 10 billion damage now probably does a little less than 10 billion. Same with the Gadget Q, same with the Gadget Ultimate. I did feel like most abilities did a bit too much damage, and I like that they've increased ability defense for all heroes. That basically gives them a nice starting point, and then they can tune other heroes where they feel like, oh, maybe Gideon's Q still does a bit too much damage. Then they can maybe tweak the damage on his Q rather than having to like nerf it to like completely with not touching ability defense. So I think that's a good way to balance it. Gives you a good baseline to balance from, which is important for future changes as well. Aurora Glacial Charge reduced range from 1000 to... Okay, so basically, I'm not going to read all the numbers. You guys can see them, but they reduced the range, which means that her escapes won't be... I just personally find Aurora just escapes way too easily, and it's because of the range of some of her abilities, so I like that they've reduced the range. Cryocism, cooldown reduced, the slow magnitude reduced. So they did explain what this slow magnitude means. It's when, you know, when you get Aurora ulted, there's a duration where you're still able to move, but you start to slow down, and your movement speed is slowed, and now this slow magnitude, which is actually what it's called, has been reduced. So you should be able to get a bit further or move into another direction so you're not too close to your allies. They also reduced her base level, basic defense per level has been reduced from 2.2 to 1.9. Her basic defense reduced from 38.3 to 33.1. Wow, Epic, you don't make this easy to read. But overall, nerfs for Aurora. She was buffed in the previous patch, but I felt it was a bit too much, so I'm glad they've toned her down a bit. Whether it makes her viable is, neither here nor there, but I think this change was necessary. Crunch didn't really receive that big of a balance change. They just increased his mana across the board, his mana and mana regen. Now, Deca has been one of the supports that was like extremely good on Legacy. She kind of fell out of favor, then she became extremely good, and now she's fallen out of favor again because of how good Narbash and Muriel are. And I think it's because Narbash stun is basically more reliable. Deca Stasis Bomb has been bugged for forever, so they've increased the damage and they've also increased the power scaling. So it is quite potent, does hurt, but whether people are gonna pick that up because it does more damage is neither here nor there, because like if you landed Stasis Bomb, most of the time it just doesn't do anything anyways. So it's kind of like, well, I think you need to rework this ability or fix it, and I don't think they have a fix for it because it's been so long. Slow Bubble, base damage increased and her power scaling has also increased, so that gives Deca a bit of a wave clear and allows her to, you know, maybe, I guess, put a bit more damage on the field in team fights. Whether that means she's picked up more, I really doubt that. Just increasing her damage is going to mean that she's picked up more. Drongo Old Rusty, slow magnitude reduced from 175 to 125. That's fine. Now, Feng Mao and KWANG have been insanely good. They were so good from the update, and I really hate to see that they've been nerfed, but I definitely think it was necessary. So let's start with his conversion shield magnitude reduced from 100, 175, 250, 325 to 75, 150, 225 and 300. So early game, that's 25 across the board, and then at level 3, level 4, 3 and 4, you probably won't notice that much that it's been reduced by 25. But in the earlier stages, I feel like that damage is more noticeable because people usually hit for like 56 to 100, and 25 is quite noticeable when the numbers are like that close. Whereas at 300, you kind of have like, I don't know, 2,000 health. So what's 25 difference, right? It doesn't make that big of a difference, but I think it definitely nerfs his early game for sure. Earth Shatter, cooldown increase from 90, 70, 50 to 90, 80, 70. Now that's a huge increase in his cooldown, but I will say that a lot of people run the Onslaught gem on fighters, and I think it's Amplify. I think it's I can't remember what the name of the gem, but it basically on basic attack your cooldowns are reduced by 0.3, so the cooldown isn't that big of a deal. Also, I don't think Earth Shatter was a late game. I didn't feel myself using Earth Shatter a lot because I didn't feel like it did a lot of damage. I felt like I could just chase someone forever. But with other nerfs to his attack damage, this probably could change, and this could be a significant nerf. So general balance, base move speed reduced from 740 to 700, which makes sense because why was Feng Mao, who had a dash and a slow, the fastest hero in the game? It made no sense. Base health regen reduced from 1.14 to 1.09, that's fine. Health regen per level reduced from 0.13 to 0.12, but attack damage per level reduced from 4.1 to 3.3, so that's a big nerf to Feng Mao. And on top of his Earth Shatter and his conversion shield, I feel like they've hit his survivability a bit and they've hit his damage a bit, so maybe he will fall in line with other casters. Greystone, Unbroken Spirit's regen will now allow Greystone to heal during his ultimate. Now, if you watch my Greystone video, which you all should have, I hope, then you'll notice that I said Unbroken Spirit was causing Greystone to bug out. Basically, he just wouldn't regen health when he ulted, so basically you would die when your ult went off, which was kind of pointless playing Greystone at that. Like, if you can't use his ult, what's the point of playing Greystone? You use him for his ult. Grim EXE, general balance, basic attack damage increased, attack damage per level increased, and health per level increased. So just trying to buff Grim to make him a bit more viable. I did run him as a mid laner. I definitely think he is a carry at heart. So I think with these changes, maybe it might make him a bit more viable. But I still think he's great in the mid lane. Howitzer. Landmine cooldown reduced from 16 seconds to 13 seconds. Okay, look, firstly, no one is going to play Howitzer if Landmine, or what I think that's his Landmine is the E, or whatever his E is, it procs Spellburn on him and it pops his own spell shield. That, like, you're giving him ability, but it basically just ruins his kit. Like, it makes no sense. When every caster needs to run spell shield and Howitzer's own ability pops his own spell shield, it kind of seems kind of stupid in my eyes. Maybe they fix this. I have no idea. General balance, base health increased, health per level increased, base health regen increased, health regen per level increased, basic defense increased. So buffs all across the board for Howitzer. I still think he is a great mid laner. I love his kit. I know those R2000 rockets hurt, so I would like to see Howitzer become more of a meta pick, but I don't see it until they work out these problems. Iggy and Scorch, base defense per level reduced from 2.3 to 1.4. Thank God, I fucking hate this hero so much. Kalari has been a hero that was really good and then got nerfed into oblivion by Epic, and she really hasn't had that much love from anyone, really. I can't even be bothered to play her in the current state, but Epic is showing some love. They've buffed her Shadow Dance health regen. She now gets 20 at her final level. Her general balance has increased her survivability, with her base health being increased and her base health regen. Now, onto the next OP hero, KWANG. Light of the Heavens cooldown increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Not sure how I feel about that. Like, that's fine. It's 2-second difference, so it's not that bad. Judgment of Heaven's range reduced from 1650 to 1300. That's pretty nice. Fury of the Heavens cooldown increased from 85, 75, 65 to 110, 95, and 80. That's a significant increase in his cooldowns, and it's definitely going to hurt him quite a bit. I still think KWANG will always be good because he has a great kit that a lot of people enjoy playing, and he's one of the fighters that, you know, he can peel well, he can lock down for his team, he does dish out a lot of damage, and he can be quite tanky while also being a nuisance, which is something that I feel like a tank should definitely have. So because he has that, I always think KWANG will be a good pick. General balance, they reduced his attack speed per level, his health per level has been reduced, and his health regen. So they've hit his survivability as well as his damage output, which I think is fine because KWANG, you know, he was a bit insane. So I welcome these changes. As much as I hate them because I do like playing KWANG, I think it's necessary, and it should put the game, at least from a KWANG and FENG Mao standpoint, in a better position to go forward when they introduce more heroes, more cards. Whereas if you have two broken heroes and you start adding on top of that, the game spirals out of control. So I'm good that these changes are being made. Bellica's Seismic Assault, which is her knock-up, stun duration reduced from 1, 1.4, 1.8, 2.2 to 0.51, 1.52. So now that hurts her early game the most. Late game is a 0.2 second difference, not too bad, but definitely hurts her early game. And thank God, because I think her stun early game was just ridiculously long. I mean, you would get stunned and then like followed up with chain CC, you were dead. Maybe now it might be a different case. Her base health has been reduced from 601 to 583, and Void Drone will automatically be destroyed if they are in range of an active enemy or ally turret/core. Murdoch, I think Murdoch has been pretty good, but because of how strong Wraith is at the moment, I don't think he's been picked as much. So they've given him buffs all across the board and corrected an issue that caused Murdoch to lose his Hot Pursuit passive, which actually I noticed as well. Hot Pursuit basically when you chase a low health enemy, sometimes the passive just wouldn't give you the movement speed, so it kind of sucked. Muriel, Consecrated Ground, shield duration increased from 2.5 to 3 seconds. That's a nice buff. And the cooldown reduced from 10 seconds to 9 seconds. Also a nice buff. But they've also reduced her health per level. So again, it's like this change is pretty small. I don't think it will have a huge impact on Muriel. I still think she's a great pick. Now, FaZe had fallen out of favor because of how good attack speed is. So because everyone can get attack speed pretty much for free because you buy points in agility and then you get your cards right anyway. So most carries are putting points into there anyway. So why do you need a FaZe? Well, Epic think that buffing her might help, but I'm not so sure because her ultimate's kind of useless. But let's see. Telekinetic Link cooldown reduced from 14 seconds to 12 seconds. Hyperflux attack speed bonus adjusted from 80 at all levels to 70, 85, 100. So 100 attack speed bonus at level 3. That is actually pretty nice. I will say I have noticed FaZe is Hyperflux attack speed being pretty impactful, honestly, when I've used it. I think that's a nice change. I would like to think that maybe if when FaZe uses her ultimate, the hero that she links to They are, you know, there's a attack speed cap, so I think you can do 4 attacks per second. I would like to see that the cap being removed, and Phase's ultimate removes that cap for the duration, and so that heroes can just fire really, really fast. I don't know if that's balanced, because like a Murdoch could then get out like 8 shots in a second. I don't know if that's balanced, but I think that might be a cool change. I'm just throwing out the ideas out there. Anyways, mana regen bonus adjusted from 15 mana per second at all levels to 1,500, 3,000, and 4,500% mana regen. What the fuck? That actually sounds like some insane mana regen. Now, would it be better for Hyperflux to be used on like a caster, so that, you know, you could give a caster a nice amount of attack speed, right? And then they just spam their abilities, because remember, you also get cooldown reduction with her ultimate, right? And then you get a lot of mana regeneration. That could be pretty fucking strong. Okay, Rampage. General balance, mana per level increased, mana regen per level increased, base health regen increased, base health increased as well. So, but all across the board, buff for mana and health for Rampage. I like that they didn't touch any of his damage or abilities, because I felt in that sense he was in a good spot. Revenant, general balance, base health increase, base health regen increase. So just some survivability for Revenant. Richter, Whiplash cooldown reduced from 14 seconds at all levels to 14, 13, 12, 11. I like that change. I like that. Skewer, cooldown reduced from 105, 90, 75 to 60, 45, and 30. It's on a 30-second cooldown at level 3. Richter's ultimate. Damn, that's a nice change. I like that change. I might have to do a Richter video soon. Seraph, base health, basic defense, per level reduced. Sevrog, okay, this looks like quite a considerable change. Siphon damage increased from 82, 105, 129, 152 to 94, 117, 140, 164. Okay, that's a nice buff to Sevrog, giving him more damage, making him a bit more of a nuisance. That's what I like tanks to be, a nuisance. They've also increased all his health and his basic defense. God, that one is always going to be hard for me to say for some reason. Shimby, rushing beat, reduced delay between recasts from 0.5 to 0.1 seconds. I like that change. I hated the delay. Line tempo, mana cost reduced. General balance, move speed increased from 695 to 710. Would that make her one of the fastest heroes? I think so. Sparrow, hail of arrows, cooldown reduced from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. Inner fire, duration increased from 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and 7 seconds to 4, 6, and 8 seconds. I like that. I felt 3 seconds was just way too short. Side arrow damage adjusted from 50% at all levels to 50, 58, 66. So a nice buff to her ultimate, actually. Pretty considerable, honestly. General balance, basic attack damage per level increased from 3 to 3.4. Basic defense increased from 17.3 to 20.7. So definitely a big buff to Sparrow. I like these changes. I like it a lot. I think that's going to make her one of the more viable carries. Wraith, general balance, okay, increased his survivability. I'm glad they didn't touch Wraith in, by nerfing any of his abilities. I felt he was in a really good spot. Wukong, health per level increased, attack damage per level increased, health regen increased. So Wukong kind of fell out of the meta. Whether this brings him back, I'm not sure, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be playing Wukong simply for his Halloween skin. And the same goes for Yin, because her Halloween skin is pretty dope. Now, Zinx, damn. She fell out of favor for sure. She was so good at one point, and then she just dropped to like the bottom of the hero list. They've increased her health and her basic defense, and whether this makes her useful again, I'm not so sure. I feel like Zinx. Did I say Yinx? Jesus Christ! It's get a grip. Zinx's kit just doesn't allow her to do much. Like, it's kind of a boring kit. Like, you press R and you stay alive, and then you do dot damage, but the dot damage isn't really significant at this point. So I definitely think they need to buff her damage output. But, let's see. Maybe they're just seeing how it goes if they increase her survivability as a tank. Because like I said, a tank should be a nuisance, but they shouldn't be able to do a lot of damage. So maybe that's what they're trying to... Epic is saying, okay, look, let's buff her survivability so she becomes more of a nuisance in team fights, because she's going to live longer, and because she has more survivability, then maybe people will be like, oh, she's a nuisance now, so I can pick her, because that's what she offers in team fights, rather than what she was doing before, which was killing everything. Now, moving on to the cards, we've got Death. Awaken the Emmerich now grants plus 140 max mana. Meh. Numbing Rogue no longer grants power, now grants 300 max health. Reduced attack speed aura from minus 25% to minus 20%. So I feel like that card now is not going to be picked up on a lot of fighters. It might be picked up on a lot of tanks and support. Plague Lord Malek, reduced power from 17 to 10, reduced radius from 1500 to 1200, reduced movement speed slow from 120 to 100. I like that change. Very good change. Thank you. I felt the move speed was just a bit too much. The radius was a bit too big. And why did it have power in the first place when I don't think people building that should be allowed to have so much power? I like the change. Well done, Epic, on that one. Vampiric Blade, reduced power from 15 to 12. Okay, that's like, I don't really care about that card, honestly. Everyone just uses that card for its insane lifesteal. Knowledge. Atomic Soldier, reduced power from 17 to 15. So it's kind of clear that Epic feel like casters are doing a bit too much ability damage, and Atomic Soldier is picked up on pretty much every caster. And with the increase to ability damage and Atomic Soldier getting a nerf, I feel like this is a good change and a good step to making casters, not being able to blow up someone with one ability. Black Ice Routine, increased max mana from 15 to 140. Cryo Agent, reduced cooldown from 4 seconds to 2.5 seconds. That's a nice change. I feel like this card was pretty underrated as well, but the cooldown did kind of ruin it. So 2.5 seconds is it's pretty good. I like that. OPD Militia, increased power from 10 to 15, reduced mana cost per shot from 25 to 20. I like it. I think this card could definitely be picked up on a lot of heroes, but it did cost a lot of mana. It didn't do a lot of damage, so I like this change. Shipyard Scavenger, increased bonus gold for killing isolated targets from 350 to 450. Not sure that this is going to be a card that's going to be picked up often, but it's nice that they're showing love to cards that aren't really that used. Static Trap can no longer be placed on top of each other. Now deals 100 ability damage, reduced cooldown from 20 seconds to 15 seconds, reduced lifespan from 120 to 90 seconds, reduced the mana cost, reduced activation delay, and reduced route duration. So it's kind of like they want to increase you using Static Trap, but they also don't want the route to be too long and for it to live in the world too long, because I think they want you to be able to place quite a few around the world and make some kind of plays with them. So I would definitely like to see people pick that card up. I think it's underrated as well. Supply Sergeant now grants plus 25% max mana regen, reduced cooldown from 85 to 75 seconds. I believe before that just gave you 150 mana back, but now it's plus 25% mana regen. Wetware Virus, increased mana regen from 56% to 100%, increased duration from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. That's pretty considerable buff to Wetware Virus, honestly. Order, Domain of Stillness, reduced cooldown from 90 seconds to 75 seconds, and now grants plus 60% mana regen, so definitely one for supports to be picking up. Godmother Vigilant, if you remember, this card got nerfed to oblivion after I released my Godmother video. It probably didn't have anything to do with me, but it did get nerfed after I released my video. They increased the max health from 240 to 300. Whether this card gets touched by a lot of people, I don't think so. I feel like now people have worked out how to counter the Godmother, that, the previous nerf to it might not have been necessary, but it was taking the community a long time to figure out how to counter it. Growth, Coursing Zephyr, reduced cooldown from 90 to 65 seconds, increased attack speed from 17 to 21. Growth Totem, reduced power per minute from 1.0 to 0.75. Thank you. In my mind, Growth Totem should be a tank item. It shouldn't even offer that much power. I would like to see the power reduced a bit more, but I'm not sure at what point does Growth Totem just not become picked up on anyone. So it's definitely a tricky one to balance. Spriken, increased mana regen from 72% to 100%. Possessed Spriken, reduced power from 10 to 8. Okay, I had no idea why they buffed Possessed Spriken in the first place, so I'm glad that they reverted that. Unbroken Spirit, reduced power from 18 to 10, reduced ability resistance from 36 to 30, reduced health regen when stunned from 12% max health to 10% max health. This reduced power means that maybe fighters won't pick it up as much. I feel like almost everyone was running it, even some carries were running it, and I like that the ability resistance has been reduced because they've given everyone more ability defense across the board. Vital Waters, reduced increased healing from 15% to 10%. I still think Vital Waters will be picked up, but that's a significant nerf. Chaos. Blitz Rush, reduced cooldown from 25 seconds to 20 seconds, reduced attack speed from 16 to 10, and now grants 5 power. I like this card. I think it's a very underrated card, so I like that this is a sort of buff to it, making it, making it an option for carries to pick up. Deathcrawler, reduced cooldown from 8 seconds to 5 seconds. That's a significant buff to Deathcrawler. Probably going to make Revenant a lot stronger. Heavy Hitter, reduced power from 16 to 13. Nitro Boost, reduced power from 8 to 6. Outlander Scout now grants 180 max health. That's pretty nice. A bit more survivability. Shattered Golem, reduced power from 26 to 21. Tireless Reaper, increased mana refunded from 20 to 25%. I think Tireless Reaper is a great card as well. Gems, balance changes, quick exit, reduced movement speed, increase from 300 to 225, reduced duration from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, so a huge nerf to quick exit. And that's the second one that Epic has done to quick exit. So it's clear that people are still picking up this gem, and they're trying to promote gem variety, especially with the other ones that compete with quick exit. That's pretty much all it is for the patch notes, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video. There's a loot crate update, but I don't really look at those kind of things. If I had to sum up what I feel about the patch, I think it's a pretty good start for Epic. I like the changes. I would definitely like this current meta to be over. It's not as fun as a lot of you probably have been experiencing as well. Significant nerfs to some things that I felt needed nerfs. Feng Mao, KWANG, Unbroken Spirit, Growth Totem as well. Nice changes across the board, honestly. So yeah, overall a good patch from me. This one gets a thumbs up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts about this patch in the comment section below. Smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Subscribe for all the latest Paragon content. And until next time, guys, peace.